What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, October 24th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 4:33 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and I wanted to give you an update on the situation in the Middle East. So, apparently, the U.S. is planning for mass evacuations from the Middle East if the Gaza war escalates. Officials say more than 600,000 Americans living in Israel and Lebanon are of particular concern, but they stress that an operation of such magnitude is a worst case scenario. Guys, over 500,000 Americans in the Middle East, okay? 500,000 American citizens. That is insane, okay? What happens if thousands of Americans get killed when this war kicks off? America's going to have to get involved. Okay, we're going to have to get involved because our people are going to be getting killed by Hezbollah and Hamas and Iran and the Iranian militias. We're going to have to get involved. Okay, 600,000 Americans, guys. And that's why I believe that what we're being told about the number of Westerners killed in Gaza and Israel is a lot higher. I think they're up to like 29 Americans killed. I think it's a lot higher than that. And the number of Westerners that have been taken hostage, I think, is at least 500, if not over 1,000. So, very concerning, guys. The fact that the U.S. is planning for mass evacuations is very, very concerning. Okay. And there's also some other concerning language coming out from the U.S. U.S. officials expect a significant escalation in attacks against American troops in the Middle East with Iranian fingerprints all over them. Okay. And they said yesterday, John Kirby said it, and Lloyd Austin said it, and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said it. You know, they all said that they're expecting attacks on American troops. Okay. And if they do get attacked, if American troops do get attacked and we start to see serious casualties, that could be the reason for the U.S. to nuke Iran. Okay. And we do have war plans for that. Okay. We have war plans for everything. Okay. Every possible contingency our military has war plans for. They're called O plans, especially for limited nuclear strikes and selected nuclear strikes. We have three different types of nuclear attack options. There's the major attack option, there's the limited attack option, and then there's a selected attack option. And so the limited and selected attack options, we have like hundreds, if not thousands of them, and they're constantly updated all the time. So there's a plan for every scenario. The US military has plans for every scenario. Okay. And you better believe that they have a plan to deal with Iran. Okay. If our troops start to get killed. And in my opinion, it involves using nuclear tipped Tomahawk missiles that they could launch from an Ohio class sub. We have 4 Ohio class subs that carry 154 Tomahawk missiles, and those Tomahawk missiles are nuclear tipped. Okay, so they can put a small warhead on those Tomahawks, and those Tomahawks are extremely accurate. You know, their accuracy is within a few meters. They can hit a target within a few meters from 1,000 miles away. That means if you're sitting in your living room in Florida, they can hit you from Long Island, okay, right in your living room. They can land that Tomahawk right on your couch with a 100 kiloton nuclear warhead, okay? So that's what they would do if they did have to strike Iran. They would have to use low yield nuclear weapons because they have bunkers underground, under the mountains. Iran is a very mountainous country, guys. Okay, it's very, very rugged, and they have caves and they have bunkers. It's like Afghanistan on steroids. Okay, remember all the caves that they had in Afghanistan? The Taliban and Al Qaeda, they had all those caves. Iraq is the same thing, but even more. Okay, so regular missiles, conventional missiles, are not going to do the job. All right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's what I think. And American intelligence indicates Iran's intention to escalate attacks on American forces throughout the Middle East. Okay, so American intelligence is saying that Iran is planning to escalate attacks on American forces. All right, there's already been so many attacks in the last week, probably almost a dozen now. The IDF Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, said, "We are prepared for the possibility of the expansion of the arenas. We are working to restore security on the northern border." Okay, so the IDF Chief of Staff is saying they're preparing for the possibility of multiple fronts, and they're focusing on the security of the northern border, which is the border with Lebanon. Okay, top U.S. officials tell Axios the threat of a war widening from the Gaza Strip are real and rising, forcing the Pentagon to put more U.S. forces on higher alert for quick deployment and rush additional weapons systems to the region. Senior administration official says it's quite a dangerous situation. It could all veer off the rails really quickly. The whole region could be in conflict. And the Biden administration is concerned that Israel lacks achievable military objectives in Gaza and that the Israeli Defense Forces are not yet ready to launch a ground invasion with a plan that can work, senior administration officials said. The administration is also concerned that the IDF do not yet have a clear military pathway to achieve Benjamin Netanyahu's goal of eradicating Hamas. And French President Emmanuel Macron proposed on Tuesday that an international coalition fighting against Islamic State in Iraq and Syria be widened to include the fight against the Palestinian militant group Hamas. That was reported by Reuters. Okay, so Emmanuel Macron basically saying that the coalition of fight against ISIS should be widened to cover Hamas. That's pretty surprising. I thought Macron was going to go against Israel, but he's actually kind of supporting Israel in this situation. And just multiple U.S. officials saying that they're preparing for an escalation. Okay, a senior administration official said it's quite a dangerous situation. It could all veer off the rails really quickly. The whole region could be in conflict. And here we have the Prime Minister of Lebanon. His name is Makati, visiting the UN headquarters in southern Lebanon to discuss the current situation amid tensions with Israel. Okay, so here's the Prime Minister of Lebanon, here's the Army commander, and here's the UN commander. Okay, so the UN has a base over there. An Iranian backed militant group claims responsibility for an attack on two American installations located in Saudi Arabia, an attack on the Prince Sultan Air Base in Al Kharj, and an attack on the King Abdulaziz Air Base in Daraa. Okay, so this is the document here that these Iranian backed military groups provided, claiming responsibility for an attack on two American bases in Saudi Arabia. I haven't been able to verify that. I haven't seen any other information besides just one source on this, so I'm not 100% sure. Google has been disrupting live traffic services on their Google Maps recently. And so here we're looking at a map of the Middle East, and you can see that they're showing the traffic in Beirut. You can see the green here, and you got some oranges here in Beirut. But if we go down to Israel, there's no traffic at all. You can't see any traffic here. Okay, and the reason why they're doing that is I'm sure Israel requested Google to hide that because they don't want to tip off Hamas when they're moving all the equipment, and also they don't want to tip off Hezbollah, because I think this is about more than just Hamas. This is about Hezbollah also, and the Iranian militants in Syria and Iraq, okay, which are funneling into southwestern Syria right now. They're on the border of Israel, okay? So Google's shutting off their traffic services for Israel. You could see Amman, Jordan has all the traffic here. You can see, look, a lot of congestion here outside of the center of Amman. but then we go over into Israel and the traffic just disappears. Okay, you can see there's nothing in Jerusalem. You can't see anything at all. Okay. The U.S. Navy announces the interception of more missiles and drones launched by the Houthis across the Red Sea. I haven't been able to confirm this with other sources. Last night, military sectors of the Iranian Air and Space Forces of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps flew towards the Iraqi border from the direction of Iraqi Kurdistan. So that's very interesting. It looks like the Iranian Air Force flew a sortie towards the Iraqi border. And I don't know if that's, practicing for flying like an attack mission or a strike mission on U.S. bases in Iraq. That would be very concerning if they did that. If Iran flew fighter jets into Iraq and then started shooting missiles from the air at our bases over there. And the U.S. Navy has sent the destroyer USS Thomas Hudner into the Red Sea. It passed through the Suez Canal last night, and apparently it's heading southbound. And we're hearing that many people evacuated from villages in northern Israel say that they're not going to be able to return home until Hezbollah in Lebanon is defeated. This was reported by Ynet. We have unconfirmed reports of drone attacks on the USS Carney by the Ansarullah movement. And these are Islamic jihadists out of Yemen. So apparently they tried to attack the USS Carney with drones, unconfirmed. Okay, unconfirmed. And we have the Emir of Qatar calling for the establishment of a Palestinian state based on the borders of 1967 with East Jerusalem as its capital. And Qatar hosts a lot of U.S. military bases. There's one critical base in Qatar that we use for a lot of our critical Air Force assets. Okay, so Qatar is now siding with the Palestinians. They're siding against Israel, and they're also siding with Russia. Russia said the same thing, that they want a Palestinian state established based on the borders of 1967 with East Jerusalem as its capital. And this is where the USS Thomas Hudner was. Okay, last night you can see 13:53 UTC time. It was just south of the Suez Canal in the Red Sea. The U.S. is issuing a new warning to ships traveling through the Red Sea. Hamas says that they have 35,000 fighters and they're ready to fight. The U.S. Maritime Administration is warning on Tuesday to exercise extreme caution when traveling through the Middle East. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I'll be back later on tonight with another update on the situation in Israel. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notified when I post these emergency alerts. And also, when this war does kick off in the Middle East, I will be going live 24/7 if I can, if the internet works, if YouTube works, if we have electricity. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notifications set up so you get notified when I go live. And other than that, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.